Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, guys? Before we jump into this huge topic at hand, leave a like, subscribe, turn on my notifications. Every little bit helps the channel grow. Now, I want to get started by saying, first of all, it is really good to be back. I missed you guys so much. I missed the ability to make news content for you guys. Yes, I was able to drop some content while I was on my sabbatical this past week, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the Cam Newton news out to you guys on time. There was a lot of crazy stuff that was going on in the world of football. My brother was actually making fun of me, saying you happen to take a vacation during the most busy and craziest time in sports for all of the pandemic. And, well, I'm back now. I flew back a little bit early as a result, and it feels good to be back. But unfortunately, the piece of content that I have to address today isn't so positive, and it is a little bit personal, and it has to do with DeSean Jackson. Now, I understand that there's going to be some individuals here that love football and they love my content and they watch all of my content, so as a result, they clearly know who DeSean Jackson is. But in the event that you do not know who DeSean Jackson is, let me fill you in. First of all, on the field, he is by far one of the most electrifying wide receivers I have ever had the pleasure of watching, who's delivered some great memorable moments as a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. Primarily, the moment I'm talking about is the Miracle of the Meadowlands 2, but if we're talking about off the field and what his statistics are, he has had over 10,420 receiving yards throughout a 11-year NFL career, and he recently re-signed with the Philadelphia Eagles, although he's kind of a non-factor over there. For this past season, for the most part, he was mainly injured, but he has had 5 seasons where he had over 1,000 yards receiving, and he is truly a joy to watch. But also, what you need to know about DeSean Jackson is, with all due respect to him, he comes from a very, very rough upbringing, and I've covered this in my NFL Players with Gang Ties video. To summarize that video, or at least that portion for DeSean Jackson, what you need to know over there is DeSean Jackson had a year in 2013 when he caught 82 passes for 1,332 yards, and despite this, he was released. Now, originally why the Eagles released him mainly had to do with his inconsistent work ethic and the fact that he was missing meetings, and the Eagles would look into why DeSean Jackson was missing so many meetings, and they found out that he was associating himself with people that they deemed to be negative influences, and the situation took a turn for the worst when it was discovered that DeSean Jackson was friends with gang members who were part of 2 homicides in Los Angeles. There's a bunch of pictures to back this stuff up, and he's been connected to the Crips multiple times, but he has insisted that he is not a member of any gang in a statement that he had made following his release by the Eagles, saying that he would like to address the misleading and unfounded reports that my release has anything to do with any affiliation that has been speculated surrounding the company I keep off of the field. I would like to make it very clear that I am not and have never been a part of any gang. I am not a gang member, and to speculate and assume that I am involved in such activity off the field is reckless and irresponsible. Now that you get a little bit of an idea of who DeSean Jackson is, here's where we stand today. DeSean Jackson, after he got released by the Eagles in 2013, joined the division rival Washington Redskins in 2014 and had 2 of his 1,000-yard receiving seasons within 3 years with that team. In 2017, he left the Washington Redskins and signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for 2 years, and he didn't really do as well there, but he is clearly aging. And then this past season, he signed with the Philadelphia Eagles, and he is currently employed by the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, let me tell you what's pretty ironic about this entire situation. DeSean Jackson goes onto social media, and he says something that, well, is completely tone deaf and very insulting, and I'm going to read it to you guys. You guys could interpret it for yourself. Now, I'm going to show you the picture of what he posted onto his story. You could clearly see his finger there as well. And you clearly see at the top left of your screen, it is DeSean Jackson's Instagram on his Instagram story. The first 2 words say Hitler said. Like, by default, bro, you're quoting Hitler straight up. Now, for those of you guys that aren't super educated about the Holocaust, I actually was a tour guide at a Holocaust museum for 2 years when I was in high school. Let me tell you what Hitler did, man. Just to summarize it, this is a guy who is responsible for the murder of 11 million people. 11 million people. And 6 million of those people were Jews. 6 million Jews were murdered at the hands of Adolf Hitler. So I just want you to bear that in mind. And then it continues to say, because the white Jews know that the black people are the real children of Israel, And to keep America secret, the Jews will blackmail America. They will extort America. Their plan for world domination won't work if the black people know who they were. The white citizens of America will be terrified to know that all this time they've been mistreating and discriminating and lynching the children of Israel. Now look, to comment on this entire page, any person that has a high school degree could clearly understand what Hitler's trying to do here. He's trying to turn one nation that he really doesn't like, which is black people, against another group of people that he doesn't like, which is Jews. He's trying to persuade the entire world that the Jews are out for world domination, and that's backed up by this scholarly article I found off of JSTOR, which I never thought in my entire life I would use JSTOR for anything else but a essay, but here we are right now. Hitler included blacks with Jews in his autobiography, Mein Kampf, which means My Struggle. He was affected by a worldwide white supremacy movement, which was prevalent prior to World War I. And increased in popularity as a result of the political and economic chaos following the war. In the United States, there was a rebirth of the Ku Klux Klan after the war, with membership reaching millions by the 1920s. Hitler was also greatly influenced by social Darwinism and its propagandists, such as the upcoming eugenicists or race scientists. He rationalized that someone was to blame for his perception of world collapse. Therefore, he liberalized and wealthy Jews as well, as supposedly parasitic and ignorant blacks became the scapegoats. Politically, he used them to affect the minds of the white European masses. And DeSean Jackson, if you happen to be watching this, bro, pay close attention because your boy Microphone's about to give you a nice little history lesson. In the 1920s, around 24,000 black people were living in Germany. African German mixed-race children were economically and socially marginalized in German society, and they were not allowed to attend university. Under the Nazis, black people no longer had jobs and were excluded from many aspects of life. And DeSean Jackson, if it wasn't blatantly obvious, just based off of the fact that Adolf Hitler used a derogatory term for black people in this excerpt, well, pay attention to this part, because by 1937, the Gestapo, which was the Nazi police force, had secretly rounded up and forcibly sterilized many black people. Some were subject to medical experiments, whereas others mysteriously disappeared. That's all you need to know. If Hitler is doing this to black people, clearly he does not have black people's best interest in mind. So quoting a guy that clearly hated your people just because you're taking an out of context excerpt that makes your people look good is not the move. He clearly is just trying to turn two groups of individuals that he does not like against each other. You know why? Because it makes his life easier. The only people that Hitler loved were blonde-haired, blue-eyed Germans. That's it, man. That's it. He didn't like anyone else. He thought that was the supreme race. So you're quoting that man because there is so much more. There is so much more that DeSean Jackson does that is absolutely ridiculous here. Now, if you go to DeSean Jackson's Instagram page, you'll see a pic of a notorious anti-Semitic preacher by the name of Louis Farrakhan. And DeSean Jackson literally posts a picture of him preaching and says, #Farrakhan. This man powerful. I hope everyone got a chance to watch this. Don't be blinded. Know what's going on. But get this is the best part of all. DeSean Jackson took some time to clarify his statements in his Instagram story, saying that anyone who feels I have hate towards the Jewish community took my post the wrong way. I have no hatred in my heart towards no one. Equality, equality. Okay. But in his next story, he highlights the portion that he believes in the entire excerpt is the most powerful, saying that the Jews will extort America. Their plan for world domination won't work if black people know who they were. Now, here's the thing, DeSean. You don't understand that the entire purpose of this excerpt is to turn two groups of people against each other. Now, I don't know if he's trying to take Jews out of the context at all because he blacked out the top part or the bottom part, but the fact that you're quoting Hitler, who meant this excerpt as a means of hate to turn two groups of people that he doesn't like against each other, just shows me that clearly you aren't educated on the matter. Now, here's the best part, and this is the part that I personally find absolutely hilarious. And yes, I find it hilarious. I think it's really, really, really funny. The fact that his employer Howie Roseman, the general manager of the Philadelphia Eagles, is Jewish. Bro, his last name's Roseman. And then the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles is Jeffrey Lurie, who's also Jewish. Here's the best part of all, DeSean. You have done absolutely nothing for the Philadelphia Eagles this past season. And guess what, DeSean? The Philadelphia Eagles drafted a wide receiver in the first round of the NFL draft this past season, which is more likely than not going to occupy your role. The Philadelphia Eagles actually released a statement on DeSean Jackson, and this is according to Adam Schefter as I was making this video, saying, "We have spoken with DeSean Jackson about his social media posts. Regardless of his intentions, the messages he shared were offensive, harmful, and absolutely appalling. They have no place in our society and are not condoned or supported in any way by the organization. We are disappointed, and we reiterated to DeSean the importance of not only apologizing, but also using his platform to take action to promote unity, equality, and respect. We are continuing to evaluate the circumstances and will take appropriate action. We take these matters very seriously and are continuing to have productive and meaningful conversations with DeSean, as well as all of our players and staff, in order to educate, learn, and grow." After this was posted, DeSean Jackson took down the posts of Farrakhan immediately, and I don't see it anywhere on his Instagram page at all. But I do have a question for you guys, and I would really appreciate you guys commenting down below to let me know how you feel about DeSean Jackson and what the Eagles should do in regards to DeSean Jackson as a result of his comments. Do you think DeSean Jackson should be cut by the Philadelphia Eagles, or do you believe he deserves a second chance? Please let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about this, because I would honestly appreciate your opinion and would like to hear what you have to say. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mikerophone, and I'll catch you guys in our next upload.